Every single year, new games get published. Some are brand new titles, some aren't, and yet the ones that end up in the top 10 most sold games every year, despite their dubious quality, are always the ones that have had a brand publishing for decades. This is mainly due to two factors: the nostalgia built up by the brand and the fear of missing out. While nostalgia is an easy thing to understand in this topic, the fear of missing out aspect might be a bit more difficult. That is because fear of missing out in gaming is associated mainly to currency and purchasable items, but we'll talk about that later. Right now we're talking about the psychology behind it. See, the fear of missing out, which we'll also refer to as FOMO, is the feeling of apprehension that one is either not in the know about or missing out on information, events, experiences, or life decisions that could make one's life better. This is usually associated with a fear of regret. Within video games, fear of missing out is used to describe the similar anxiety around missing the ability to be a part of a group, in this case, part of a gaming community. The brands that commonly benefit from this the most usually develop games played by kids who, growing up, get both attached to the brand and the friendships they made through it. These games keep on selling for two main reasons, one of which we already discussed, which is the fear of missing out from the community, and another important one, the lack of competition. Sport games don't have competitions, nor do some FPS. A big example of this is Call of Duty. While there may be lots of multiplayer FPS games, they mostly focus on two smaller categories: 5 vs 5 tactical games like CS2 and Valorant, or more action-based ones like the Finals. None of this, though, really matched the style of Call of Duty, besides Battlefield, giving both these brands a full-on monopoly of the scene. When such a thing happens, the games have no incentive in really improving, as any player currently addicted to the game won't have a better alternative, leading to incredibly slow and empty updates, and sequels that don't improve much over the previous titles. Going back to the fear of missing out, how do we actually see it being present in games? Well, mostly the fear of missing out is something you can apply to obtaining in-game items or completing activities that are only available for a limited time, one of the most renowned of this being the battle passes. This is particularly common for multiplayer video games, where such items are cosmetic in nature but reflect a player's skill to other players in the game and can become a sign of social standing within the game's community, wherein failure to acquire a limited cosmetic item may lead to being left out. You can see examples of this in many games, with the OG skins in Fortnite, the Golden Wrench for TF2, the Dragon Lore for CS, and so on. Exclusive items of this kind go anywhere from $300 all the way to $10,000, $20,000 and $30,000. Mind you, I'm not mentioning items like the Blue Hardened Gem Karambit, which is right now going for more than 2.5 million, because that, unlike these items, is not something you can purchase and miss out on later on, but is a complete gamble, which we will also cover shortly. Microtransactions have been integrated within games for years as the main source of revenue. This goes for both paid and free-to-play games. Free-to-play games with a big emphasis on microtransactions are referred to as freemium. The objective with a free-to-play microtransaction model is to involve more players in the game by providing desirable items or features that players can purchase in the case that they lack the skill to earn it, such as through challenges, or simply lack the time to get it, like you'd see in an event from which you have to play from day one to get 100% of the completion reward, basically forcing the user base to spend money in order to gain the remaining part of the set. Another way to handle microtransactions is through loot boxes. For purchasing a loot box, the player acquires a seemingly random assortment of items. Loot boxes result in a high revenue because instead of a one-time purchase for something you desire, the user may have to buy multiple boxes. This method has also been called a form of underage gambling and can be observed in major games such as CS2, Overwatch 2, FC25 and so on.
Kick six! Kick six! Tiger strikes! That's good! Good condition! Good condition!
It works really well because of the psychological response behind getting close to a win, or winning itself. With dopamine release and a seamless transition from purchase to addiction, this affects everyone, adults and not, and it's called impulse buying. What's that, you may ask? Well, impulse buying is a condition in which your brain tells you what you desire and what to buy. Can we buy that? No. Can we buy that? No. Please? Okay. Man, this shit stinks! The way this phenomenon is pushed is for advertisement. Studies show that ads influence the average simpleton's mind, and it's easy to find people quickly regretting a purchase shortly after. How often have you bought a skin in a video game just for you to not use it as much as you thought? I have, sadly, and so have most of my friends. But this is because this kind of purchase specifically makes up for 40 to 80% of all of them. The tendency to buy spontaneously without reflecting is explained by the immediate gratification given to the user. As you've seen before, I've bought a skin and some fancy noise just played in the game. What that noise does to your brain is a very fancy, oh hell yeah, I just got what I wanted. In reality, what happened is you give money to the mega corporation. They're happy, they're singing in the background over there, you can see them. You, on the other hand, got the immediate dopamine, the sound, everything is nice, you've made the good decision, they show it to you. Now a week after that's gonna fade away most likely, and in the months following you're gonna be like, where did my money go? Was it worth it? No, if it wasn't, my experience says. And yet here we are with hundreds of games that feel just like another version of the previous one, even though they're made from different studios, they all have the same gimmicks, whether it's FPS, it's a car game, you shoot, you do this, you do that. They all have microtransactions, they have cosmetic, they have battle passes, which, funnily enough, they were made by Valve. Did you know battle passes were invented by Valve? Did you need to know? No, now you know. And from all the way back to 2013, where the battle passes really started being introduced in most games, only after Fortnite introduced it in 2018 did it actually skyrocket to its current popularity. Right now, if you play any multiplayer game, I don't think there is a single one you can mention to me with a big enough player base that doesn't have one, whether it's free or not, because it's an incentive to keep you playing. And it works, that's what the company wants. Look at this, for example. I just started playing Fragpunk. New FPS came out super recently, and I invited one of my friends over, and what he told to me is literally, wow, is this the first season? Because if so, I'm gonna buy the battle pass. He doesn't care about the game. Is he gonna play it? Yes, of course. But why is he buying the battle pass? Is it because the skins inside are nice? No, but because in 2 years time, 3 years time, if the game does well, they'll become rare. Now, of course, this isn't always the thought behind buying something in a game. Maybe you just like it right now, or maybe you just received it because of something you did. Take as an example the white hat for Rocket League. It's a hat that you will receive if you found a game-breaking bug, which is already insanely difficult if you know the game, and provided a report plus a way to fix it. As far as I'm aware, only 14 of this are in circulation, they're no longer being given, and only one of them averages around $7,000 to $8,000. For a hat, that's a shit ton of money. And while all of these things ultimately do characterize a game and make it what it actually is, because whether we like it or not, exclusivity will exist. The difference is that this can be separated in a good kind of exclusivity, the one made by the user base, and a bad kind, the one enforced by the developers, where they sell you something innocuous that becomes very rare in time because the way to achieve it was so difficult that after that everything of the kind you'll see will trigger a thought process in your mind that makes you say, wait, what if this is like that one? What if now, maybe 2 years after the original one happened, they're doing it again? Maybe I can get lucky this time, I can get it. Well, yes, you did get it. In your app. And this, sadly, is how companies trick you into buying more and more, while they provide you with less and less. And to me, this is despicable, because I really do enjoy the hobby of gaming, so do my friends, and yet in the past years I've not found maybe more than 2 games that have satisfied my will to play. What can we do about this? Not much if you actually ask me and if you want me to be real, but at the very least we can send a message for which we actually want games valued for what they're worth, with updates that matter. Games where the developers care about the community and the game itself before money. Because the only reason why a game with no competition pushes no updates that are relevant is not because they actually don't need to, it's because they don't want to. It costs them less to not make an update or make a smaller one, rather than push one when they don't need to, because the players are there, where are they gonna go? So all that's left for us is to coalesce and speak our minds about how much we want a development team that actually cares about us. As always, thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, go watch the other video I made, right now it's only one, and I'll see you in the next one.